Hi people, I'm Akshita and welcome back to my channel. I talk about everything and anything I like. I have a new topic today, so it's about what to do in the situation when you start thinking negatively of a person whom you love and care about. So sometimes what happens is that you start thinking negatively of a person, like you start seeing their flaws, you start seeing them from a negative perspective. So what happens is when you start seeing them negatively, the things start getting worse. You start noticing the flaws instead of the good things. So the gap between you both starts increasing, and this is when the problem arises. So here today I'm just trying to share some of the ways in which you can avoid such situation, or if you go into that situation unfortunately, so you could deal with it properly. So let's start this video now. There are good days and there are bad days. On the good days everything goes fine, but on the bad days there was something wrong. That's why it was a bad day, right? So on the bad days when you have arguments and fights with the person, what happens is sometimes we sort them out and everything goes well, but sometimes the things get complicated and we stop giving efforts and things end. So to avoid those situations, these situations happen when you start thinking negatively of a person, like you start seeing from them from a negative perspective. You start looking at their flaws instead of their good traits. You start criticizing them, and you feel that the other person is always wrong, or there's something wrong with him or her, or some anything like that. So in such situations, first thing you can do is try to distract yourself by thinking of the good things that you've ever seen in those people. Like think of the things that you've always appreciated in them, the things that you used to adore or admire at once. Like think of those things that you always felt attracted to, those powerful things that you always liked in them, those things that attracted you towards them. So think of those things, those good things, okay? And the second thing you can do is think of all the sacrifices that you both have done to be with each other. Like there are times when you stay apart, but due to some situations, but you want to be together, you want to get together and play and spend time together, crack jokes and do stuff. So at that time you must have done something and put some efforts in just to be with the other person, right? Just think of those happy moments that you had always spent together and you always like them. Just think of those things, and just think of the situations when a person, like one of you, was in trouble and other helped him or her out. Like you were about to get busted, but other one was the helping hand here, and you got the other person out of the trouble, or he or she got you out of the trouble. Think of those instances, you certainly feel better. You start thinking of those moments, of those funny or sad or tragic situations, and then you'll be like lost in the memories, and you'll repeat those things all in your mind just like a tape, and it will be worth it. Just try it once. And the third thing you can do is, actually it's not a thing you can do on the spot, it has to be your habit. You have to respect the other person. Sometimes what happens is we get well together, we vibe, but there is lack of respect. So such bonds do not stay for longer, because sometimes respect is really important. Look, I know in friends there we say that there's nothing like respect, but it's not 100% true, because there is. Because if you do not respect the other person at all, it means that you have no value of them in your life. So what happens is, the other person, when they start noticing these things, like at normal stages, what happens is we ignore the factor of respect. Like we are like, okay, there's no respect, it's totally fine, because we get along together very well and we are friends, or we are siblings, or whatever your bond is. with that person, it goes well. But on the bad days, they will start noticing the flaws, right? So they'll start thinking of the times when they never got respected, and those times where you insulted them like very badly, or the things that hurt them but were not that prominent before. They'll start thinking of those things again, and they'll feel bad now. Like they certainly didn't felt bad at those time, at that time when that thing happened, but now they'll start noticing it, and then they'll just recap it and they'll feel bad now. So just to avoid such situations, always have a factor of respect between you and the other person, so that this thing never arises in the future. And also, to sum it up, just think of the good things, the vibes, the memories, and the sacrifices, and all the nice stuff that would help you to get your mind off the negative things. Because what happens is, when we start thinking negatively about a person, we start criticizing, and we start doubting ourselves for being with them. Like, we doubt ourselves that why were we with them, like they do not they are not worth it, they are not worth being with us. And when we start thinking that way, or if they start thinking that way, things come crashing down. This is the point where it all starts to deteriorate, and then things would get worse with time. And then there would be a point when complications would be more, and simplifications, or the time to sort out, would be really less, and things end that way. So if you really don't want to end your whatever it is with the other person, just try to follow these things. Not actually follow, just listen to them and do it in your own way, because it's always said that hear to everyone but do what you like. So it's more important, like, what you are comfortable with. So think of all these things, may do some case study, do an analogy, and think about it deeply when you're alone. But please don't overthink, okay? It's gonna ruin things. So just think over and then find a solution of your own, a unique solution that works for you. So just do this thing, and then you know what, you'll thank yourself later. Bye bye, take care you guys.